Hey guys, welcome back to PLT Behind Closed Doors. I'm your host, Nat O'Leary, and today is World Mental Health Day. So we are joined by a panel of 3 very exciting guests, all here to talk about mental health and their journeys to success. So first of all, we've got AJ Odudu, TV presenter and fitness blogger.
Yes! Woo, woo, woo.
She's here. We've
I'm
also got
an applause, but it didn't happen.
Wait,
Thank
we can do it. Can we get an applause in the room? We have got body positivity advocate and influencer Alexandra Cane. Woo! I said I'd call you Alex, but Alexandra just fully came out there.
Yeah, Alex is fine.
Welcome, Alexandra.
Thank
Alex. And we have also got model and owner of Self Love Brings Beauty, Felicity Hayward.
Woo!
Guys, it's so nice to have you all here. What an incredible panel to start this podcast with. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Felicity, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, Han.
This isn't our first rodeo, is it?
We did like one of the first ones together.
One of the first podcasts we ever recorded was me and you, wasn't it, back in the day? So that was at the start of the year. That was so long ago. And you've been so busy since then. Like, you've been doing everything, which we're going to get into a little bit. But one of the things you did do this year was a mental health awareness tour. So tell me a little bit about that. I want to know kind of why you wanted to get involved with that.
The one with the NSPCC?
Yeah.
So I went on a school tour. It was Maya Jammer's, and we went to all different schools. We actually went back to her school as well, which was amazing, and spoke to kids about all areas of mental health, really. So there was a big group of us, and I kind of spoke about body positivity, basically. And what's so amazing is I remember when I was in school, like, I mean, there was nothing. There was no groups. No one spoke about anything. And we're going to all these schools around the country now, and they all have their own groups and things. And it's like, it's mad. I
think that's a conversation in itself. Like, for me, I don't know about you guys, but mental health wasn't really spoken about when I was a child. No. How was it for you?
No.
Not at all?
No, I think as women and as girls, we're allowed to talk about our emotions in a certain things, but not too much, you know, and definitely not about, you know, about your body. Definitely not about your body, because it's either like you're fat or you're skinny. And if you're fat, you should be ashamed. So you never really would speak about your body unless you were talking about yourself being on a diet, you know?
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it? Especially, you know, those formative years, they really shape you and can actually have such an effect on the adult that you become. And it is tricky, isn't it, navigating your way through school, especially if you stand out for whatever reason, be it the colour of your skin, the way you talk, where your parents are from, the food you eat. I think school is, you know, those are the years that you just want to blend in, you don't want to stand out. And you know, I feel like over the years I've sort of like found myself, so to speak, but it is a journey, and it's a continual process as well. I don't think, you know, you just become confident. I think it's something that you have to really focus on constantly. And you know, I didn't put it, you know, I didn't ever give it a title of, you know, mental health or anything like that. It was just how I felt, and actually quite often how I felt growing up. If I was frustrated or upset, sort of just told to get on with it. Just get on with it. Crack on.
Do you feel that's changed now though? Because I, like, for Children's Day, I know obviously we're not children ourselves, but I feel like it's a lot more spoken about, and kids that I know in my family, they speak about mental health so fluently and so, you know, normal, which I think is incredible, but that just wasn't the case for me as a child. Do you feel like that's changed, Alex?
I do. I definitely think it has changed, but I think also social media's got a huge part to play in that, because when I was at school, we just had phones that were like Nokias that were bricks. So
3310s.
We didn't have really like the same online platforms that we do so readily available at our fingertips now. And I think being able to see, you know, all of these photoshopped images, like all I remember doing was looking at Ms. Magazine or J17 or like, you know, all those magazines back in the day where you'd have like a little agony aunt section in the back.
Yeah.
And you weren't really seeing all these photoshopped images everywhere all the time. Yeah. And so I think now with those platforms available to such young people, it's, you know, making mental health worse, in my opinion, because everyone's comparing themselves all the time. So I think it is important, you know, to really encourage people to speak out about those things even more so now, because I don't think we had the same, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like I can't compare because I'm not a 14-year-old at school anymore, but I feel like at school nowadays it's become so much worse and people are comparing themselves so much more.
Yeah.
So I'd love to almost go back to being a 14-year-old. Well, actually, I don't think I would. But just to see the comparison of what it's really like in a school, which I think you going back to the schools, I think is amazing because you get a better insight as to what's actually going on.
I think there's always going to be the yin to the yang. There's always going to be the good side and the bad side.
Yeah.
I think if you were like me, you grew up in Blackburn, you didn't see anyone like me at all anywhere. I actually think social media has done me the world of good. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I grew up as a 14-year-old who actually has access to people with the same skin colour, the same, you know, racial background, the same hair. I felt like it was me and my family in Blackburn, and I was the outcast on every level of that spectrum. And so it's tricky as well. I feel like, you know, I'm sat here and I'm a TV presenter and I do loads of social media campaigns, and I think, wow, it's actually really like uplifted me. It's actually created a really a good financial revenue for me, but at the same time I do still have those days where I do compare myself to other people and it does get me down. And luckily I am, you know, of the sensibility where I can switch off and I can shut it down, and, you know, I can block trolls and ignore a lot of things. And Twitter as well, I don't really use Twitter at all. I feel like Instagram's my positive platform, and then, you know, I just tweet and go, you know, if I've got a show on, and then I just keep it moving. But I do think, again, like I said, it's a continual process that you have to be conscious of and practice and be like, okay, the first thing I do when I wake up isn't going to be pick up my phone, and the last thing I do at night isn't going to be scrolling through someone else's feed, because I detected that it didn't make me feel good.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about social media later on, but I'm going to stick on Felicity for a moment here. So when we spoke first time in this situation, you mentioned how, as a plus size model approaching modelling agencies, you kind of faced a bit of a struggle. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that kind of affected, if it did, impact your mental health?
Well, I got scouted in a pub. So dancing,
I love this story.
Cheers to that.
Dancing to Diana Ross.
That's a great way to get scouted.
Do you know what I mean? That's a memory that you're never going to forget. I never forgot that.
And got asked to do a shoot as Anna Nicole Smith. And that was how it started, babes.
Amazing.
Wow.
So my kind of intro into the modelling world was very, very lucky. So I got scouted and I got a really nice agent, and I obviously, when I thought I was being punked, I thought this isn't real. There aren't any plus size models in the UK, especially of my age. So I really kind of thought I was being punked, and turned out that I wasn't, and it opened up a whole kind of new realm for modelling within the industry. But it hasn't been easy, like you said. And the thing is as well, is like, I've been doing this for 7 years. I can't get an agent in America.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'm like, I've been struggling to get an agent in America.
And why do you think that is? This is the topic. Like, why do you think that is?
Because people are so... Because I've got a big belly, because I've got stretch marks, because I don't fit into some people's cookie cutter plus size model realm. So it's...
And how does that impact you daily? So you're here, you're in the UK, you are killing it as a model. You've had an amazing year, you've had an amazing 7 years, you've had an amazing life. How is it impacting you now when that is kind of, is that the next step for you to go to
really,
America,
I mean, I lived there for a bit and it just didn't work for me, because I think there they want the girl next door, which it's not me, but it's not really
that
me.
Could never be you.
So I went over there, had a really good time, you know. Went on a little pina colada tour of New York and everything, but it just didn't work for me, babes. And it is tough now, girls trying to kind of get into the industry. But
that's so interesting and so refreshing to hear, actually, because I think, you know, I mean, I know you, and you know, I see you as a strong woman who's really confident and vivacious, and you are booked and busy. You are doing campaigns left, right and centre, and it is actually interesting to see the other side of it as well. And you're like, nah, it's not
America
all
don't want me, babes.
easy.
Like,
and you still face that rejection to this day,
but we all
despite
do.
your success. Yeah.
Everyone faces rejection every single day. And even in England, and like work's going well and everything, it's like you will get rejection and sometimes your agents won't tell you why.
Yeah. And how do you handle
And I'm like,
that?
no, I want to know, babes.
And do they will they tell you or no?
Sometimes they will, because it's like, I mean, it's the same thing with Fashion Week, and I find it really, really difficult that like these brands want me to come to Fashion Week, want me to sit on the front row, but then they won't cater to me because I'm bigger, and they won't make outfits for me, and they'll basically give me a hair clip and then take my press. So it's just like a constant battle within the industry of just like, oh, you want to use me, you want to talk about body positivity, you want to have that element of it, but still you don't like fat girls, basically.
And how does that impact your mental health, like daily? Like, do you take it on? How do you actually train yourself and make yourself not take that personally?
I just think about all the other people that support me, and I just think about my little sister, and I just think like, if you don't keep going and you just let these people and their like absurd views on body image keep kind of trying to put you down, then I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, but I think you have to think about the larger
picture.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. How was it for you leaving the villa and being catapulted into the fame, into the spotlight, from what maybe you'd say a normal life beforehand?
Absolutely mental. I don't think anyone can really ever prepare themselves for the debauchery that goes on, basically. As soon as you leave the villa, obviously it calms down within time, but everyone everywhere is like just paps, press, whatever it is, are just trying to click on to whatever is going on in your life. Unfortunately for me, I had a personal issue happen literally straight after I came out of Love Island, which was another catalyst to me. Ended up like, I had a bit of a mental breakdown about a month after the show, which nobody really saw, but I was doing like PAs, etc., traveling up and down the country, and my mum was at home really, really ill. And you're conscious of the fact that like, I've got to get the money while it, it's coming in. Is it going to last a certain amount of time, etc., etc. So everyone's trying to like pull you in so many different directions, and you're trying to make the best out of a situation, and you're not really sure what's going on. Like, you don't know where it's going to go. It's just madness. People recognizing you all the time, like literally invading your personal space. There's no such thing as like, there are some people that are really lovely and really polite and like, oh, I loved you, so-and-so, do you mind if I get a picture? And other people just grab you at a time where you don't want to be grabbed. Like, you're like, this is my personal space. And there's a lot of just people in your face shouting things, making comments, and, people saying, oh, I saw you in the press the other day. Is it true that such and such? And it's like, wow. Yeah. Like, oh my God, I've just gone from being a really private person to all of a sudden everybody thinks that they know my business. And that is quite hard, the transition to make into just understanding it all. It takes a while. And it's just gone from normal to madness. And so just trying to get your head around it all is quite difficult.
Isn't that difficult as well? How it's interesting how people, they watch you for weeks on TV, love you or hate you, think that they know everything about you. And they've got this real sense of entitlement that they can touch you and grab you and continue to gnaw you, even outside of that show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, being reality TV, because you watch it so intensely for like however many, it was 8 weeks every night, well, bar Saturday. And so they do feel like they're entitled to kind of talk to you. They feel like they know your business, but it's just important to remind everyone, like, it's a TV show and there's elements of it that you really don't see. And for someone like me, I went in 3 weeks towards the end, right? So you didn't get to see bad parts about me. I do have bad parts. Like, I'm not perfect, but you never really got to see that with me because I was in there for such a short amount of time. So I had a blessing, really, going in there and just, having the storyline that I did. But there's other people, I saw all the press. It was quite nerve-wracking, actually, because I saw all the press come out about a lot of people before I went on that show, and I was like, oh my God.
Seeing
like,
what's
this
coming
can
kind of thing.
ruin you.
Yeah.
And so I count my blessings every day that it worked out the way it did for me. But for some other people, it's really, really hard. And you've got to be such a strong character to go through that and come out and be okay.
Did you have a support network around you? Like, I know that, you know, obviously stuff happened with your mum and stuff, but did you have like mates who were really like, you'd go to feel protected?
Like, people always ask me, oh, so who are you still friends with? And it's not because they're not my friends or I don't like them.
Yeah.
But I've had my support system since I was young.
Day
like
one.
My friends have been my friends for 10 years plus, and my family, and they are my friends that have been with me through the worst and through the best.
Yeah.
And they will remain to stay there unless they show me otherwise. So for me, it was like I kept that support network, if not moved closer to them, because I wasn't interested in, you know, and maybe this is not playing the game as such, whatever you want to call it, but it scares me hanging out with people that I don't know could ruin my career or I don't trust or try and use me. Like, I got paranoid about it. And so I moved closer to my friends and I tried to keep myself to myself. But yeah, I did have a good support network. Other people, I think it can be easy to get lost a little bit if you're not sure who's your friend or you're trying to keep up appearances. And I'm very grateful that maybe I'm a little bit older as well. And I kind of have that tiny bit more life experience to understand that not everything that you see you can take, you know, at face. You just got to take it at face value with a pinch of salt, really.
I wonder, with all three of you, you're all in the spotlight, you're all got a celebrity status. Do you often go through a similar thing as Alexandra has said, of not knowing who to kind of trust and who could damage your career? Do you think like that on a daily, like it's something that doesn't go through my mind, but for you guys?
I certainly have done in the past. I had this really big TV show a few years ago and everything was going great. I had a boyfriend, I had the dream job. I was literally like, yes, living my best life. And all of these mates come around and everyone's like, oh yeah, we love you. And then that job goes, that boyfriend goes and they go with them. And you're like,
wow.
Oh, that's really upsetting.
That's
because
shocking.
You're not expecting that because you're being open, you're inviting them into your world and your space and you think that they're going to stay there forever. And actually it's those experiences, if you bounce back from them, that actually build you up again and you're like, yeah, okay, wicked. Now I know that you are a work acquaintance and you are my friend and that's just how, you know, you can keep them separate and you can be pleasant to everyone, but you know your people.
Yeah.
You know your
good.
people.
100%.
Do you feel the same, Felicity? Have you gone through similar things?
Yeah, I don't trust anyone.
It's hard.
Point
I'm not
blank.
trying to be rude, but like I've had people try to hack me. I've had severe trolling, all because of the fact that they don't like what I do, and it's really kind of put. I have friends that are in the spotlight, but they are friends that I've met at a dinner party, at someone's house, down the pub. The majority of my friends are like work in a hospital, work in a car garage.
Yeah.
They are that kind of, like you said, like your support network.
So kind of friends from like life, like when you make them friends when you're a child, don't you, in high school, primary school type of thing.
Yeah, I do still think that you can like make friends like within the industry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think like, you know,
We're friends.
We're friends.
Yeah.
And
There we go. We're all friends here.
No, I don't need to sound like I don't like that,
not
but it's
at all.
like a, you know, I do feel a certain way of like, I'm sure all three of us feel that you have to be careful about who you let in your life right now.
Well, you just have to be
Yeah.
very smart and savvy, and you can't trust everyone immediately from face value.
Yeah.
But actually, that's how you should be in life anyway. It's just you get caught up
protect
in
yourself.
everything sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think keep an open heart, girls.
Yeah.
You know, like try and like stay trusting, because when people betray your trust, it's not you. It's a reflection of what they're going through themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, you often share very natural pictures on Instagram. Sometimes you compare yourself to like a posed image where you're posing and you're showing your body, to a non-posed image, to a relaxed image.
Yeah.
Tell me, what made you decide to start doing this?
Well, I think the process of Love Island was quite scary for me because I was literally putting myself in front of millions of people as me, whereas before I'd like take a picture from my best angles. And that was one of the most nerve-wracking things, actually. And once I came off the show and I realised, oh, like, it wasn't so bad, I just thought, you know what? I don't look great from every angle. I know my angles. I know from previously being a dancer, like how to kind of hold your body, composition of a picture, like lighting, shadows, makeup, hair, etc., like everything. And I just thought, I've grown up so much all the time thinking that you have to look a certain way to please people.
Yeah.
And just to be able to show the reality of it, like sometimes, you know, my boyfriend would take a picture of me and I'm like, ugh, like why would you get a picture of me like that?
Yeah.
But I'm like, but that is me. And it makes me no less of a person than the person that like looks nice in a photo, or my version of nice in a photo, because, you know, I'm holding my body in the right way or whatever you want to call it. But I just thought, it's just Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, let's show every angle of us, you know? There's so much going on with like photoshopped images and retouching and getting rid of blemishes and stretch marks. And it's like, we all have them, and I've faced my own battles with them. And I just want to share with people, like, it's normal.
Yeah. And Felicity, I know you're very big on sharing natural images on Instagram, and I know you're quite against editing. So tell me about that. Like, why do you think it's important that we are showcasing images like Alex is talking about?
Well, I think if we go back to when we were talking about when we were younger, and I remember that anyone that was curvy, obviously we didn't have Instagram back then, the only people that I could ever see were on the gossip magazines. So it was like a celebrity that had put on weight, and it was like showing them in such a bad light of like, oh my God, look what they've done to themselves. Yeah. They look hideous. And it's like, actually knowing, like growing up, I'm like, that person was just on holiday having a good time, and a papa's gone there and tried to make them look bad. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I've always been like, look, I'm a model and I'm in a position where, like, you know what, my photos do get edited, and some of the times like it is out of my control. Yeah. You know, and I wanted to make sure that I showed the real version of myself online, like you do. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's important for these young girls to be like, look, we've got stretch marks, I've got cellulite, I've got like these blemishes, I've got all of these things, and I'm also that other person that you look up to, but I want you to look up to me for all of me,
who I am,
you know. I've just finished writing a TED talk about body. It's called The Great Body Positivity Swindle.
I love TED Talks.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Come on, give us some more.
It's basically about the body positive industry, what it was when I first started and what it's become now, and how I feel it's kind of really watered down, and how I feel people are now using it for not the right reasons. So you've got people that are promoting like, oh, look at me, I look so real. Yeah. And then their next post, they're promoting flat tummy tea.
Yeah.
So we've got people online now that are just like, oh, you know what? They're probably the girls that kind of bullied me at school. And now they are these Instagram girls, and they've realised that kind of the rise in body image and how like, basically, 2019, curvy is trendy.
Yeah. Right? Latching onto trends.
It's like
anxiety and depression. You know, it's like, you know, there's loads of different things that people can just delve into.
But back when I was growing up, Britney and Christina were the poster girls. Yeah. That was the body image that was deemed desirable. And now in 2019, the Kardashians kind of vibe is now the thing that is popular. So you've got girls that are now jumping on that popular trend of like, I want to be curvy, I want to be body positive is doing so well. It's doing so well. So I'm going to jump on that trend, and then I'm also going to reap the benefits of financial gain from that. So I'm going to do flat tummy tea and all these other things that are so against what body positivity is. Yeah. It's about loving yourself for who you are and who you've become, and to have these girls online that are not only claiming body positivity, selling flat tummy tea, they're also getting so much work done to themselves and pretending that they've had nothing done. Infuriates me, because the thing is, you've got young girls are online that are looking and going like, oh my God, that person's beautiful, they're like, I want to look like them, oh my God, how did they get their body like that? And it's as serious as the fact that you've got girls that are going to motels in America and getting butt implants they've got concrete in these mixtures, and they are dying of infections because girls online are claiming body positivity. They are messing with young girls' minds, and rather than just admitting, I had surgery, I had this done, this is the right procedure, because there is nothing wrong with getting stuff done to your body. There is nothing wrong with wanting to get a boob job, wanting to get fillers, wanting to get all this. There is nothing wrong with it if you tell the truth. And these girls are not telling the truth online, claiming body positivity, and then the young girls that are coming online being like, I want to find myself, are looking at these girls and actually going backwards.
Well, I think it all comes down to, though, like essentially everyone, it's almost got to begin at home, because actually sometimes there isn't an influence for that person, and people who are being influenced are those who actually need to look at themselves a bit more, sort of thing. I've got myself to a place where I can look at someone's boobs, their bums, their whatever, and be like, they look amazing, or she looks all right. I wish I looked like that, but it's just not going to happen. And I can just keep it moving. I think, once you start to look inwards and you can embrace every single person's body, no matter what it is, what they look like, you look like you, I look like me. And as long as people remember that their USP is being themselves, then they're good to go.
How do we spread that message? I guess this is what today is about, really, because that type of thing for young minds especially, how do we make young girls and young boys and young people aware of that? What is the best thing about them is that they are them and they're unique, and there's no other person on the planet apart from me saying it. Like, how do we do it?
I'm going to put it bluntly, right? Your mum and your dad made you. And it's like, that is literally the most magical thing to happen. Like, you have been put on this earth as you, for you, and everyone's got their own different purpose in life. And whatever that is, whatever you love, whatever your passion is, just channel that and just work on yourself and be better every day. Like, just try and make improvements every day. And I could go on about it for ages, but it's like, as you get older, you do learn all the time, like, about yourself and things that you enjoy, things that you don't enjoy. It's just being very self-aware and doing things for you. And like Felicity was saying about following trends, because we're seeing people like the Kardashians, everyone wants to look like them rather than just being the best version of themselves. Like, there will never be another you. So utilise that and own it.
For sure.
AJ, you're a TV presenter, so you're in one of the toughest and most competitive industries on the planet. And you've spoken before, we touched on it before, about rejection and how that's kind of led you into a dark place previously. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Oh, it's so depressing. I'm always like, gosh, TV presenting is so stressful. I grew up knowing full well that I wanted to get into TV. So that was my thing. And then I got into TV, and when I was 21 and, working for the BBC and then going back to the call centre and then working for MTV and then going back to retail, that's all well and good. But then as you get into your late 20s and everyone's off getting married, having kids and like buying houses, and you're still like living in a bedsit with like mould on the wall and like a mice infestation, you're literally like, what am I doing with my life? And like, when is my big break gonna come? And then you get your big break, or what you think is your big break, and then the contract gets pulled from underneath your feet and all your mates disappear and you broke. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with this. Also, the rejection side of things, it's on you. Like, TV presenting is essentially based on not just your skill set, but most importantly, your personality and how you make people feel. So when I go into an audition or a screen test, as we call it, and you don't get the job, you're like, wow, you hate me personally. Like, you can't help but take it personally. And over the years, I've had to like really grow thick skin to sort of like bounce back and, again, not compare myself to other female presenters, especially female presenters, because the industry pits us against each other, actually. They make us feel like it's either you or her, and she's better than you. And so as a result, we grow up in this society which makes us feel like, oh, I can't like that beautiful girl. I can't like her because she's 10 years younger than me or whatever. And it creates this like really toxic, jealous environment that only when you step out of it for a second, you're like, actually she's sound, we get on really well. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter that she's 10 years younger than me. And even though this like TV exec is like pitting us against each other,
But it's
all
blokes
fine.
that are putting you against each other, right?
yeah, a lot of the time, like if I'm being really honest, it is. It's a lot of the time, it's how men want their women to look, how men want their women to talk, and how people want you to present yourself. I just clocked onto the fact that it's impossible for me to like change my accent, change how I talk, just change everything. All I know now is that some jobs I fit, some jobs I don't fit, some jobs I do fit, but my job is to convince someone who thinks that I don't fit that I do fit. It's a mess, but I enjoy it, clearly.
But again, it takes it back to what we just said, like you are the only you and that's what makes you amazing.
Yeah.
So if you don't get a job, that's kind of what you've got to remind yourself is, okay, I wasn't right for that one, but I am still incredible. I am still this strong, amazing female. And, you know, the next job will come along. But something I've heard you speak about, AJ, is how being a TV presenter, and I think probably Felicity can probably relate to this, is how when you don't get booked for a job, what's really hard with TV is you see who does. So then you are comparing yourself to that person.
Yeah, you can't help it.
And how do you not, like on a day-to-day, like if that happens, how do you deal with that and how do you stop yourself from comparing? Can you stop yourself?
Yes and no. So I don't compare myself anymore, but what I do know that I personally do to make me feel better is just take note and actually just list all of the incredible things about that person. Because what I did do in the past was like, oh, can't believe she got that job. She's not this, she's not that. And actually was very negative about that person. But actually, by being negative about that person, I was more negative about myself, because it was like, you've got such a low opinion of that person, but technically you're below that person because you've not got the job. She's got the job. So actually it was like, I flipped it, which is like, well, this person is amazing because of all of these incredible things, and that's why he or she's got the job. And in order for me to get that dream job next time, I need to like focus on this aspect of myself and this aspect of myself, and actually just turn it back around. Really and truly, you can't please everyone. You can't please everyone in work and in your personal life. When I was presenting Big Brother's Bit on the Side on Channel 5 years ago, it was my dream job, and it was like, oh, amazing. And I remember Emma Willis, who was presenting the main show at the time, said to me, right, AJ, good luck, have a great time, but whatever you do, don't look on Twitter. And I was like, whatever, it's fine. And honestly, it was brutal. You know, when you are in the spotlight, be it as a model, presenter, musician, you are living your dream, you are doing your dream job, but you're also exposed to people who have access to you and can give you a direct opinion straight away. And it is hard to take. It doesn't matter. It's so annoying that we are tuned to spot the negative. Someone could say a million nice comments about me, and you best believe I only remember that one negative one. And especially if it's something that you might resonate with, or it's a triggering comment that you've grown up with, trying to overcome, it really sticks with you, and you can't help but get upset by that.
Alex and Felicity, you've both been on television shows this year and last year, big TV shows. So can you relate to what AJ is saying? Have you ever gone searching for negative comments yourself?
Yes. I mean, I put myself on the TV naked. So it wasn't just, I really kind of threw myself in the deep end. And the whole point of the show was to help other people's body image and help them come through their own battles.
Yeah.
And it was also, I'm not going to lie, it was also a struggle for someone like me who is, you know, this confident person, but I put myself out there online and I got a lot of trolling. A lot of the kind of media coverage was just like, these fat, disgusting whales, why are they on TV doing all of this? And it was really hard because I was doing something that was for good. I was putting myself, putting myself out there in such a vulnerable position to help others, and people still wanted to attack me and go for me. And I think me and you actually spoke about this before when we did the last podcast, but there was one particular comment that I had on one of the pictures. So Naked Beach, we were naked, but we had body paint all over us. And there was one comment I had from a male, and he said that nobody wanted to see my fat, disgusting body, that he wanted me to die of a cardiac arrest and basically death to this pig, right? Bearing in mind that I just changed like 2 or 3 people's lives for them to become much more confident and happy. And I remember seeing them and I was just like, the only thing fat about me is my personality. I think actually I said my wallet. And I kind of listed all of these things of like, I have a big personality, I have a fat wallet, I have a humongous heart, and all of this sort of stuff. Yeah. And it was not long after that I got a message I actually bumped into an old school friend. And she was like, oh, like, well done on the TV show. Like, it's really amazing to see you doing something like this. And she was like, I actually saw one of the comments that you had online. And I said, I mean, babes, I get them daily. And then she said to me, yeah, well, actually, the person that commented was actually, I recognise the name, and I'm a school teacher now. And that person that commented on you was a kid from my class. He's 15 years old. And I actually pulled him in to have a conversation about online bullying and said your name, and he just went absolutely scarlet. And she was just like, you do know this is a form of bullying and trolling. And she had to get his mum in, and then the mum came in and was devastated, and then he had his Insta account deleted. But like, that was, that doesn't happen all the time. I mean, you don't get one like really bad comment and then someone's mum finds out. That's definitely not happened. But it's
This is crazy, isn't it? People can just say what they want. That's the thing. And they've got something to hide behind. But actually, if you was to face that person, if you were to pull them up on it, they'd quiver. They would cower back. They'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. You're like, well, why did you say it?
I think something really important to remember though, in that conversation there, Felicity, you're talking about, we speak about online trolling and the people that have had negative things to say about you in the negative press, but I know but I think we should all remember how many people you will have helped.
I think Instagram needs to up its game though in the online bullying and what you can do, because you can report it, but I think that it goes through a kind of robot system. It's not really people that are there. They should have a much bigger support network, or they don't have any phone lines or any email addresses you can contact. It's just all an online form. And when it online bullying, and it's harassment, and it is serious, and clicking a button and saying, oh, this person said this, like, there needs to be more things that can be done.
I was just gonna say, I suggested ages ago on Instagram that, how people have to apply for a rail card, you have to send in a passport photo of you to make sure that it's you applying for that rail card. I think it should be the same for any online platform. You have to put your passport photo.
So it's not someone faking, pretending to be someone,
accountability.
And it's accountability.
Yeah. I just think it's a lot of it is kids. Like, I remember being a teenager at school, and obviously we didn't have Instagram, or we know to be Instagram now. We had things like MySpace, and we used to make up Pixo websites about other people. And like on MySpace, if you had an argument with your friend, they wouldn't be in your top friends list. So you'd move them out. So it was a different level. And we had MSN, and girls got tricked into sending naughty suggestive photographs. They'd be printed and they'd be put around the school next day. So it was a different level of what was going on. And
this is so stressful.
It's just like kids, you look at kids, right? And I've had kids say, like, I've got a birthmark above my eye, and someone said, oh, what's that birthmark above your eye? But they were a kid, because they don't know the damage that it can cause to someone. So I think, as an adult, you become a bit more like tactful with the way you say things, and you understand, your brain capacity is big enough to understand what could really damage and hurt someone. So, you learn that element of self-control. And also, it's really bloody offensive, like, keep your opinions to yourself. But sometimes as a child, and particularly the environment that you grow up in and seeing things online and following trends like Twitter, it's very easy for people just to write things now just to get loads of likes. And that's the problem. It's like, people are saying things or doing things to shock, to get you know, a profile, but not necessarily for the right reasons. So it's really hard, I think.
I think essentially it's just important to know that words have power. Your words have so much power. So if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, because in the same way that you can bring someone's day all the way down by saying something negative, you can also boost them. If you see someone and you respect their work or you respect them, say something nice and it will pick them up. And you know, that energy is contagious. Once someone else feels good, you naturally feel good.
Yeah. I'd also like to add though, in some instances, like for me particularly when I've been online, if I put something up, like I do like a questionnaire every now and again, and sometimes like I'm just sharing my opinion, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this panel right here, is that we are all very different. So like you said to me, I'm going to be the yin and the yang. What my experience is going to be different to yours and to yours, right? So when sometimes I put something out online, I'm fully aware that my experience might not be the same as someone else. So I think there is a way that you can give constructive criticism to somebody and say, do you know what? I really love that you've posted this. However, it may come across like such and such to somebody else, or, you know, there's a way of conversing with someone and sharing an opinion without being like, you're horrible, you're nasty, and like using just bad terminology, I guess, because words can be misconstrued, particularly online. Yeah. And there's a way of giving constructive criticism without making it personal, you know? So again, being the yin and the yang, sometimes you can have a negative or a different opinion, but without being nasty about it.
And talking about mental health in social media, a lot of people nowadays, which I feel is a positive movement, are talking openly about their mental health. That's kind of been a bit of a trend and a movement this year where people want to openly discuss when they're having down days and if they're having down days and what they're going through, which is a positive movement because it's showing, especially from a celebrity status or, you know, an influencer, that you're real people. You're not just on an Instagram screen. Is that something you guys get involved with? I'll go with you, AJ.
I think so. So I communicate my opinions about myself and my feelings and my journey to self-confidence more so on podcasts and platforms like this. If I'm being really honest, I don't project that on Instagram as much as I could, maybe. But I've got my reasons for that. And actually, you know, you should do things your way when you've got the time to do it and when you feel ready to do it. Because actually, for me, online platforms are exposing enough, and there's a person inside here, inside this like loud mouth, there is actually like some emotions, guys. My thing, weirdly, this is how I use Insta, and it might be a bit cringe, but I urge everyone to do it because it's really, really good, I think. So on my Instagram stories, right, I'll only turn to Instagram if I'm feeling good. Right. Yeah. So I won't be on it if I'm having a down day at all. So I will wake up and I'll be like, good morning, my people. How are you? I'm feeling great. Yeah. And then I might be on a shoot and then be like, oh, just got my makeup done. Yes. Yeah. And then it might be, I'm in a really nice restaurant and I'm like, yes, look at this food. This is amazing. And I'm waking up and it's snapshots, right? Yeah. It's a gift and the curse. But essentially, at the end of the day, in between those snapshots, something awful has probably happened or something bad might have tripped up my day and I'm feeling like, oh, I've had a really bad day. And then just before I'm winding down, I have a look at my own Instagram story, I watch my own story and go, do you know what? You've had a blooming good day. Yeah. You feel good, go to bed, sleep it off. And like, actually, I think whilst we focus so much on everyone else's amazing, perfect lives, do your own Instagram story, watch your own amazing, perfect life, and actually be really proud that you got through the battles of the day.
Yeah. I'm going to take that on, babe.
Do it, babe, because you will love it. You'll watch back your day and you'll be like, It's been great.
Do you ever laugh at yourself? When you're really hyper and you're having a really good day. Like I always do it. When I'm really hyper, I'll post loads of my story, and then I look back like, bloody hell, I'm hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm really not, but I find it funny. So hopefully you guys do.
Yeah. I think it's all about perspective. Like you're obviously in control of your own platform.
Yeah.
And, we do have the ability to block. And I think, for people like Jessie Nelson, obviously her fame is on a completely different scale. So it's really hard to go through millions of comments and block millions of people, So I feel quite lucky in the fact that I don't have that level of fame as such, so that I still do have an element of control over what I put out, the people that, I can filter their comments and get rid of people if I don't want to see it. It's not going to be on there. And I am a bit of a control freak, so I like having that ability to do so.
Yeah.
But also looking at people's feeds, like I've got different pages for different things, and I love following people for furniture. I love following travel bloggers, all for different reasons. My life isn't like that, but what it does, and I try to look at it as it inspires me to create a life that I do want to have. Yeah. So, okay, I don't have a yacht, but I'm going to work hard enough to try and make sure that maybe one day I can have a yacht. Yeah. Or the things that I see other people doing, it inspires me and, motivates me to work harder so I can have that life for myself, not sit there and go, oh, well, she's more privileged. Why haven't I got this? Why haven't I got that? Well, there's ways, like those people have started, not all of them, but a lot of people have started from nothing as well. So there's no reason to say that you don't have the ability to do that too. We all have it within us. You've just got to find that and utilize it and make it powerful. You are powerful.
And how integral would you say that social media, Alex, has been to your success?
Huge. I wouldn't be where I am without it. It's really incredible that we've got this platform. It's scary to think that it might not be there one day. Yeah. And I think that's quite scary for a lot of people, If Instagram was to disappear, would I still be getting booked? And I think that comes down to personality. You are more than just an image. And I think it's so important to remember that, because if Instagram isn't here one day, what the hell are you going to do? Where's your contingency plan? So I think it is great to talk about things and not just hide behind a 2D image.
But I think a good thing to note there as well is how big social media has been for you. So it's a positive, like everything, there is a positive and a negative. Absolutely, and it's sort of balancing that. Now, social media breaks has been a trend, another trend, we're saying the T word this year, 2019, everyone's been taking social media breaks. Is that something you like to do, Felicity?
Sundays,
come on, tell me.
It's not that, I'm just overwhelmed with work, and I'm just like, it is very difficult, and I think it's really difficult when you are freelance, and it is that you are so scared that if you aren't on your phone constantly, you're going to miss work. You must agree with that, right?
100%.
I try and take like a Sunday, even if it's a Sunday afternoon or 2 or 3 hours of just like getting off Instagram. It's not easy, but I just think that sometimes it can just take a toll on your mental health constantly, and it's just like, just need a break, babes.
Yeah, you can have a digital detox on a daily basis. So basically, I used to be in the habit of every single morning when I woke up, my phone was the first thing that I grabbed, and I would easily waste an hour and be like, why am I always late? And just be like, I've just got out of the shower, sat on the edge of my bed and just been scrolling for an hour. You get sucked in. And I did exactly the same thing at night as well, and be like, I'm so tired, but then still found the energy to be online for another hour and a half. So now my like digital detox breaks are literally every single day. I'm not on my phone until I've had like my breakfast, had my cuppa, I've had a shower, and I'm out the door. And the same at night as well. It's like, I don't tend to be on my phone. I mean, it's not all the time, but I don't tend to be on my phone right before bed. I don't sleep with my phone in my room. Even
really?
Just like,
you don't have it in the room?
That's very good.
That's a new one. I mean, I might take that one on.
Don't do it. But as well, I'm like scared of, I'm getting paranoid now.
I know what you're going to say.
But I'm scared of all of the,
radiation. We're all thinking it, every single one of us. Mine goes into my pillow.
Shouldn't be close to your head, and I've started to only answer my phone with my headphones and stuff.
Really?
I don't like my phone like touching my face and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to.
Hey, health is wealth, and I just need to keep healthy, even if it is just like putting my phone out of my room for a little bit.
I would love to see in schools everyone get their phones taken off them the minute they walk into school. So you've got your phone, it's collected, you get on with your school day, and you pick it up at the end of the day. If there's any emergencies, it's there. You need to call your mum or your dad, whoever, and just remove phones at school.
It's hard though, isn't it? Come on, you remember when you had the Nokia 3210?
Babe, all I did was send ringtones to one another. That was it.
This is the thing, we're on a different level now, because when we were in school, I'm guessing we were all around a similar age. When we were in school, we might have had a mobile phone, but social media didn't exist. The biggest thing you were doing was playing Snake or sending the odd ringtone. It wasn't even a proper song.
Pictures.
You couldn't take a picture.
No, you were just sharing ringtones.
You couldn't do anything naughty, really,
like
apart from pranks.
Long.
You could prank someone. I mean, that was good fun. But like, do you know what
come
I
on,
mean?
it was exciting.
Yeah, like 141 in the beginning.
Oh,
141.
Don't forget you got 141 it. And how many times would you accidentally not put 141
Yeah.
at? Hiya.
It was
And
no
they're like, "Nat,
unlimited
what's up?"
text.
No unlimited
No
text.
unlimited anything. You had to pay for each. You had to make sure that you had
Don't
each
pay text, man.
character.
Yeah.
Do you remember the codes that you could get, and like people would send them around and be like, free text messages today, and literally at the back of our history class we'd just be texting each other, like your
Literally.
friendship group was those 5 people.
We
and
used
it's
to
like,
carve notes
ridiculous.
into the wood on the table.
On the table?
Oh, yeah.
It's not causing that much
guys.
trouble, realistically.
Pass
is it,
notes around the
compared to-
classroom. Yeah,
Memories.
it's just different.
In a world where social media has become so central to everybody's lives, how do you stay on top of your own mental health as girls and as women with such large followings as yourselves? Felicity, I'm going to go to you first.
I go to the seaside.
Do you really?
Yeah, go to the 2p machines. I'm not even joking.
No, I've seen you.
I'm not even joking.
I know.
I have to completely remove myself from work, the situation, whatever. I'll go down the bingo halls. I go to the 2p machines. I turn my phone off. Or I put it on airplane mode because sometimes I want to take pictures of me winning key rings, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm really good at it. I won 52.
I've no doubt about it.
Won
52 key rings?
Yeah.
Oh
skills.
my goodness.
Everyone says I need to go on that show, but...
Oh yeah, tipping point.
Yeah, but the thing is, I
How
watched
does that get commissioned, by the way? Literally, televised 2p slot machines.
But you
people
can't
like
even-
Felicity.
But you get all these. I don't want no questions.
No.
I just want 2p's, and I don't want to put them in that slow.
So yeah, I guess that's Felicity's way, 2p machines.
Yeah.
Any other ways that you look after yourself? I guess your Sunday ritual.
Sunday ritual. I go see my nan. I turn my phone off. I call up my friends and FaceTime for hours, and just talk about stuff.
Talk shit with your girls.
Just stuff that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Stuff about school, stuff about your past. I don't know. I really enjoy going to the seaside.
I've got to admit, I don't know if I ever feel on top of my mental health or anything like that, because I always have a crisis, a meltdown at least once a week. And then
We all do.
eventually I'm like, oh, you're fine. You just need to go to bed. Half the time you actually just need a good night's kip, by the way. If you're crying loads, it's literally like, just go to bed and get 8 hours, mate. Get 8
Thing
hours.
is, I actually enjoy crying because
Yeah.
it's a release of something. Like, I cried in my car yesterday for an hour. I just sat outside my house crying. I was like, what am I doing?
But
But
what
I
triggered
enjoyed
you?
it.
Yeah.
I carried on crying because I was like, this feels good.
And was there something wrong with you, or just...
I don't know. I was just having
You
a
just
bad
needed to
day.
cry.
But yeah, exercise,
It's there
travel,
for a
and music.
reason. It's
Yeah.
like we do it for a reason. I love crying to like movies and songs. Like when I'm hungover, my favourite thing to do is cry at a
It's
sad
a
film.
release
People
of
are like, why
emotion.
would you want to cry at a sad film and make yourself sad? I'm like, because that's what I do.
Also, once a month we're going to be crying anyway.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah, you know it. But I tell you what, one born every minute. Oh my gosh.
Is that
a
your trigger?
tearjerker. It's so uplifting. It's so fascinating that I'm like, wow, like the human body is mad.
Yeah,
and like,
incredible.
Yeah.
there's life. And yeah, I basically cry every single episode without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, that's good.
And what advice would you give to anyone that is having a down day, apart from going to the beach and going into a slot machine? That's your way of coping, and that you enjoy doing that. So I think it is about, for myself, doing something you enjoy that takes your mind off of maybe what it is that's getting you down.
Music's a massive healer for me. I've had a really fun, like real funny patch with music at the minute because I feel like I can't really relate to anything. And then,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. But then recently there's a couple of songs that I'm just like, oh yeah, I love that. I can really like get into the groove of that. And it's just such a distraction. Like if you wake up in the mornings and it's silent in your house, it can be a bit depressing.
Your brain
But you
just
whack some music on that you love and automatically your mood is changed.
It's true.
So music for me is a massive healer. Traveling, being able to see like different cultures, the way they live, it really makes you appreciate your own. And also for me, exercise, because it releases endorphins and it makes me feel good. So they're the three things that I'd say. Just do whatever makes you feel good, whether it's having a bath with some bloody Lush bombs, whatever it is, just do what makes you feel good.
I'm like, early night, bit of fitness, and, you know, maybe throw a date in there. Have a little snog, do you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do.
Anyone.
Yeah. But I tell you what, you should listen to Snow Allegra. Do you know her? She's really good, very uplifting. Because I was like you just recently. I was like, no music's really like striking a chord with me at the moment. But I'm like you. I really find music very therapeutic. Snow Allegra's great, and Sinead Horner at the moment.
Amazing. Sinead's my girl.
Mwah!
Love her.
So good.
Yeah.
There you go. You've not just got this conversation at the podcast, we've also got some song tips, so write them down. I'm going to be as well. What is your self-care routine, Felicity? Do you have a self-care routine? No?
I think everyone thinks I do because I have a self-love brings beauty brand. I think you feel different on every single day. So, you know, one day if I'm going, right, I'm going to go home, I'm going to put all my crystals in my bath, which is what I do when there's a new moon and everyone thinks I'm a witch. One day I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go wash my crystals. Like, that's my vibe. And like, that's my thing of self-care. Another one is like, everyone's doing my head in. I'm going to go down the pool with the grannies and do aqua aerobics, and they're going to put on Tom Jones, and I'm not going to have my phone. And another one's going down the seaside. I think like self-care is basically just being kind to yourself and doing something that either you're familiar with and you like doing, or might be something that you've never done before. But I think you can never really give self-care tips essentially to other people because you don't know what they are going through themselves or what they like. So, you know, do something that's good for you. You know, not everyone can go traveling or go to aerobics or buy all these things, but there will be something that's therapeutic to you, whether it's, you know, painting or drawing or just, like you said, listening to some music.
Having a bath, or like just that moment of zen. It's kind of like you taking yourself outside the reality bubble, you know, just that moment for you where you can just sit and be with your thoughts.
We spoke before about Instagram and the things that it is trying to do to make the world and to make us a safer place, with people not just showing their best bits. What more do you think could be done? I know you mentioned before, Alex, what you think the passport. Do you guys think there's anything more we could do or Instagram could do to make the internet, well, not just Instagram,
I just think you can't control these massive corporate brands, sadly. So, you know, we can give all of the suggestions that we want, but actually I think we need to focus on what we're doing. And that you know, that's immediacy. that is going to impact our lives straight away, because we've got the power to make that change today, like right this second. And it is hard. It's hard. It's, like I said, it's a continual journey. It's continual growth. But just remember that, you know, say for example, don't feel anxiety when you go online. Validate that photo before you post it. Like, that is a good photo. It doesn't matter whether it flops, whether it gets 10 likes or not. I'm leaving it there because it's sick. I look amazing, or whatever it is. And you know, put your phone down at bedtime, or just do those little things to, you know, make your relationship with social media better. And that's within the realms of your control.
Yeah, I do have to agree. And I think, you know, it's very easy a lot of the time to pass the blame on to other people for doing things. But at the end of the day, we don't have to have an Instagram account. We don't have to. And so if you do choose to have that platform, there's a lot that you can do to make it a better experience. If you don't like something, just don't follow them. It's that simple. So yeah, I think taking accountability is hard because, you know, we like to always look for reasons as to why it's you know, bad. And I think there is a lot that can be done to improve by the bigger corporations. But I agree. There's a lot of power that we have as individuals, and just focus on that as much as you can.
Okay, well, we do know social media can be a force for good. And with PLT's Say Something Nice campaign, which is why we're all here today, we are encouraging others to share positive messages on social media and encouraging others to do so. So can you tell me, AJ, what is your message going to be and who are you going to dedicate your post to?
On the spot. Do you know what? There's this girl called Hannah Anderson. She's incredible, fitness blogger. She's gone through loads of like personal battles, but she bounces back. So my message is to Hannah Anderson, and she's at Fashionable Fit online. You are strong, you are powerful, you are amazing, and keep shining.
I love that. Thank you. Alex, do you have a message?
I guess my message would be, I've always lived by this motto, and you can't always change what's happening around you, but you can change you can control how you react to it. So I guess that's what my message would be, is like, life happens, right? And sometimes it is shite and sometimes it's amazing. And understanding that you're going to go through these emotions all of the time, just being self-aware, I think is so important. And we all go through good days, we all go through bad days. So just ride with it and just try and control as best you can your reaction to things, and try to remain calm, I guess, because sometimes we put ourselves and we think so negatively about things, and all that does is have an effect on us rather than the situation. So yeah, just try and always see the light in things and see, the beauty within you.
And is there anyone you think you dedicate that to today?
I guess just anyone who's ever taken anything from me, good or bad, like everyone really.
Yeah.
Even people that have written horrible comments to me, because that shows a reflection of them, not me. So if you can find it within yourself to see the beauty within yourself, then that then reflects onto other people. So everyone.
I love that. Thank you very much. Felicity?
Mine will go out to a model called Kelly Knox. She is I just love her. She was born without one arm. So she has dealt with, in the last decade, a lot of hard work within the industry, and people kind of taking her seriously and seeing the real beauty of who she is. And if I could send a message to her, it would be, keep doing what you're doing and keep understanding that the perfect body does not exist, because you have to aspire to be the best version of yourself and not someone else.
That's a lovely message to end on there. Yes. But I'm not going to end it just yet.
Of course you're not.
Not yet. The last question I'd like to ask you, I think it's a really nice thing to end on, is if you could offer a piece of advice to your 15-year-old self, what would it be? And I'm going to go from Felicity and I'm going to
God, we're going to use that as well, babe.
Got another one from you now.
Honestly, I would tell my 15-year-old self, like, you need to chill out, babes. You need to chill out, and you need to understand that everyone around you right now might not like you and like what you're doing, but if you stay true to who you are, you're going to come out on top.
Mine would be, you are not alone. I think as a teenager, I always used to think, like, I remember looking at myself in the mirror and seeing that I had cellulite, and I just cried and I cried and I cried. But I know there's numerous other girls that have gone through that, and I think that's the beauty of social media now, is, it can be used for good, and sharing that this is perfectly normal, talking about taboo subjects, which sometimes we've been silenced for. Just like, you're not alone. Even if you feel like you are, I guarantee there's millions of other people going through the same thing as you, and not to worry as much. My problems when I was back in school are literally like, they don't even exist anymore. So things that I thought, so-and-so doesn't like me, or I'm going to be bullied or whatever, like, in the grand scheme of things, in a few years' time, like, it's not even going to be relevant. So just try not to stress yourself out as much as you do.
My advice to myself would be, one thing I'd say to myself is, you are beautiful, and that's not even the most interesting thing about you. When I was a teenager, well, actually throughout my life, I've never felt like I could be desired, that I was attractive or anything like that. And actually, it's all a lot of rubbish. But in that same vein, I don't think it's the be all and end all. Like, my beauty shines through my personality and how I treat other people, and how I value the presence of other people's greatness, and how I uplift other people. And so that's the thing to focus on, nothing else.
Be confident.
Yeah.
Self-belief.
3 very big messages there, guys. Thank you so much. I'm feeling emotional and very inspired by all 3 of you. So thank you very much for joining us today on PLT Behind Closed Doors. It's been amazing getting to know you all a little bit better. And for all of our listeners, if you are struggling with your mental health or you know someone who is and would like to speak to someone about it, you can text the Young Men's Charity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Simply text YM to 85258. This has been PLT Behind Closed Doors, and we'll see you next week.